God's not anti-planning. Hear me. Planning, in fact, it's the opposite of being anti-faith. When you plan for the promise, it shows that you are actually in faith, that you're believing that what God said he's going to do. I love one of my favorite stories is the story of Reinhard Bonnke, who back in the early 2000s, he ended up preaching in Nigeria to in one revival to 6 million plus people. And over 1 million decisions were made for Christ in that 1 week. But see, an interesting thing, I don't know what you believe about prophecy, but I believe the New Testament gift of prophecy is still in operation in the church. And years earlier, in a little prayer meeting in Germany, where he was from, a little woman had a word from God. She received a word from God. And she said, I see you preaching, and there's a sea of dark-faced people, and I see you preaching to them, and the Lord says there's over 1 million of them in one service. Well, he didn't forget that prophecy. He believed it was from God. It bore witness with his spirit. And because he believed it was from God, he began to plan. And as God began to bless him, his ministry began to grow. He began to plan, look, the PA system. He began to say, if I'm going to preach to over 1 million people face to face, then I'm going to have the right amplification of my voice to reach that many people in one service. So he began to build through the years. He began to build what they call the Tower of Power. Towers of power, just sound system speakers that he began to build up. And then they purposely bought equipment where it could just be all hooked together until when the night came that 1.4 million people showed up on that crusade ground. They could all hear clearly the gospel message because faith had planned for that moment of promise to become reality.